Today we're testing out Balloon Shine products. Now I've got 8 columns here that I've prepared with 4 different brands of balloons in lots of different finishes. Now it's a hot, humid, and bright sunny day, and we're going to be putting these balloons to the test to see how all of these sprays fare in the weather. Now, because I've used some of these sprays before on different balloon projects, I won't be the one spraying. William's going to be applying those, and I won't know which balloons are sprayed with which spray, so I don't have any bias with the results.
Okay, Morgan, I'll get them all sprayed up and let you know when we're ready for you to test them.
All right, we'll see you guys in a bit.
Each column is made up of 5 quads, all representing different brands and colors from those brands. All of the 11-inch balloons are underinflated to 8 inches in diameter, and the 18-inch balloon on top has been shrunk down to 15.
We were able to do these tests today thanks to our generous patrons and YouTube members. None of these products have been sponsored. We bought all of these thanks to our members and patron support.
Okay, Morgan, what are your first thoughts?
Well, I can definitely tell which one is the control. I think that's fairly obvious because everything else has at least a little bit of a shine on it. I think it's got to be number 6 because there's like it's a little speckly, like maybe some overspray got on it, but it's overall dull. Everything else has at least somewhat of a shine. Number 1 looks really even. It's shiny. You know, you can see where the spray hit. There's a few spots underneath where maybe spray didn't hit, but that's just, you know, the angle of the spray. Number 2 is definitely shiny all across the balloons. Everything is shiny, even the chromes. You can see a little bit of drippage happening on number 2 though. Like you can see where the product run down the balloon, and not quite as even in a few places, but really shiny overall. Number 3, you can definitely see thin spots in the spray. We've got some running happening, and then where the spray was maybe a little thin, it's definitely not shiny. So that's a lot more obvious on this one. I would say number 4 looks really good. The chromes look shiny, the other balloons look shiny, very even. There's a few places where maybe it wasn't quite as thick on the underside of the balloons, that it's not shiny, but overall I would say this one's really good. Number 5 definitely has a lot of mottled look. Some of it's shiny, but there's a lot of places that are not. You can see where it wasn't quite as thick. It's not shiny, it's dull, it's lighter in color, and that's true across all the different colors as well as brands of balloons, including the chromes. So that one's not looking so hot. Number 6 is obviously the control. You know, they're dull all the way across. Number 7 looks pretty good. I would say where the spray hit, it looks really nice and even and shiny. The underside where maybe it wasn't quite as thick, it's a little dull, but overall a very shiny balloon spray. And then number 8 looks really good. I would say this one, most of it is shiny. There's a few places on the chrome balloons where there's a little bit of dulling, but overall very shiny and consistent. These balloons have been sitting in the shade for an hour and look pretty good at the moment, so it's going to be very interesting to see how these change over the next 15 minutes, over the next couple hours in the direct sunlight with this high humidity. Well, it's been about 20 minutes since we were last out here. I think the only casualty was that one that fell.
Oh no. Oh no, oh no.
Oh no, not a huge difference yet. A lot of the balloons are starting to look a little dry. So I don't know if that's just our lack of coverage or if the heat and air is just kind of like evaporating it. But I don't think we've lost any balloons to the heat.
That's really interesting because I always hear that balloon shine causes balloons to pop in the sun and the heat. So I'm very intrigued to see if we have that issue.
It's only been 20 minutes out in the sun though. So we've got 1 hour in the shade and then about 20 minutes in the sun. It's going to be really interesting in like another half hour or an hour. Like if I were putting on a party, you know, your parties might be 2 to 3 hours, and I'd want to make sure that they still looked good in that time frame. It's going to be really interesting to see which one is which. Like at this point I can't tell, but I'm super intrigued to find out which brand is doing better than others. Are you surprised by any of these?
No, not so much. I think how they applied was pretty telling about the quality. The ones that were pump bottles definitely improved their coverage significantly. So that is true about them needing that hour of kind of dry time and like it spreads out.
You noticed a difference in that hour they were in the shade.
Yes, there was a big difference in the hour
Oh,
they
interesting.
sat in the shade for sure.
You can already begin to see a little bit of creep in the coverage. Like some of the undersides didn't quite get coverage, which is kind of normal when you're spraying stuff. But that underside that isn't covered, I feel like is creeping up the balloon on some of these. You know, it's shiny on top, but maybe not on the underside, but that underside is coming up and encroaching on the shiny parts. It's very fascinating. I'm going to be intrigued to come back in 30 minutes, an hour, and see how this is going. Okay, can I look?
Yep, go for it.
Oh no! Oh no, we lost some big ones too! Oh, it's not even been an hour yet. Okay, so it was another purple one. It was one of those Hobby Lobby balloons. That's what popped there. And it was the neon balloon. Yep, oh, here's the other piece. Oh, it's so slimy. It looks like we haven't lost any of the untreated ones though. Interesting. I really figured like one of the chromes would go first, or like more of the Hobby Lobby balloons would go. These chromes will still look good. These are definitely getting like that shiny creep where like it's just slowly not shiny anymore. These are definitely not as shiny. These have just caught all the bugs. There's all these bugs in them. Yeah, even the balloons that haven't fallen over, we're definitely picking up bugs. Like there's gnats stuck in these. Note to self, they collect bugs. They're definitely very wet and very slick still. Ooh, I'm gonna need a paper towel. It looks like we've lost some. This was sitting in the grass, so its mate must have popped and then this one came free. But the real question is where did it come from? It looks like a lot of the Hobby Lobby balloons have popped, because all 4 Hobby Lobby balloons from number 8 are gone. A purple one from number 4 has deflated. We lost one more from here because the first one, remember, popped from the grass. So this one has lost one. This one is definitely showing dry spots that are no longer shiny, especially on the chromes, but also on some of these other ones too. Same for this one. We're definitely, it's losing its shine as we come up. It's looking very speckly and uneven. Surprisingly, we still have all of the balloons in our control. They're obviously dull, but they haven't popped. I don't hate the no spray look. A lot of times I don't like spraying anyways, because it's kind of messy and you have to be really careful about where you're spraying it. So my first instinct is to not put any sprays on it, but you also have to acknowledge the look. You've got to explain to clients that these will just get velvety as the day goes on. But if there's that expectation of, no, these balloons need to be shiny, then you're going to have to use a shine product. Number 7 still has all of its balloons. Some of the undersides look like they're losing some shine, maybe where the spray missed a tad, but overall the shine is still really good, especially up on the chromes. Because it feels like a lot of the chrome balloons have really struggled keeping their shine. And these on number 7 are still really shiny. So that's really great to see. I am noticing on number 8 something I didn't notice before. It's like streaks in it. It's all shiny, but if you get up close, you can see the texture that the spray has slid down the balloon. So that's a really interesting thing to note. At this point, I think we should just call it. The balloons have been outside and sprayed for 3 hours. One of those hours was in the shade, and then 2 hours out in the sunshine. And I think out of all 8 of them, I think number 4 is my favorite. I think it's got really even coverage. It's still nice and glossy. We haven't really lost a lot of balloons off of it. So I think number 4 is going to be my favorite.
Okay. Well, let's work from your least favorite to reveal what number 4 is at the very end.
Let's maybe start with the control.
Okay,
And you can confirm, yes, the control is number 6.
Yes, 6 is in fact the control.
Okay.
Yep.
I think my least favorite is probably number 3.
Okay.
It's drippy, it's got fading, and we have definitely lost multiple balloons.
Number 3 is Balloon Bright, which is one of the Amazon sprays. That was my least favorite to apply as well.
Oh,
so,
interesting.
I'm very much in agreement with you on that. This little spray thing, like within the first 5 pumps of it, I was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Your finger was cramping
Yep.
up.
Yep.
Well, it definitely shows in the coverage and in the drippage.
Yep.
So I can understand that. Amazon buy, okay, but wouldn't be
Sure.
a great choice. I think the one hiding back over here, number 5.
Oh, number 5.
It also has quite a bit of shine loss as it has dried, and we have lost a balloon or 2 off of it.
Okay. That is the other Amazon balloon spray.
Oh, funny.
Yep.
Well, there you go. Balloon Shine Spray for latex balloons.
Yep, that's the Orca brand.
Spray.
Yep.
Fascinating. And it's also a pump sprayer.
These were much better though. This trigger style pump, didn't hate it. I would be okay applying product like that.
Let's go for number 2. Number 2 definitely has some dripping happening. It's uneven in places. It's got a lot of bugs stuck to it, and we've lost multiple balloons.
Okay, well, you finished out our that service hand pump sprays. Yep.
Interesting, even though it was the Hishine.
Well, we do have the aerosol version that they sell.
Oh, interesting.
So we are going to kind of get to see that. I'm intrigued if that product, if you put it into like a pump spray or some other application.
Something to give you a fine mist.
Very fine mist, yeah, a fogger style machine. Yep.
Interesting. Okay, from here, I think I definitely would be number 7.
Okay. That's going to be our Balloon Glow.
Okay. Fascinating. Spray and just walk away.
Yeah.
I think it did fairly well. It's got semi-even coverage, but you definitely have to get under the balloons because it's definitely got balloon creep from parts that weren't sprayed that has definitely come up the balloon and reduced the amount of shine. Now, we didn't lose as many balloons off of that one, but I think there's definitely some options that have better coverage.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna have to go with number 8. Number 8 has lost multiple balloons. It does have a really glossy finish, but as time has gone on, it has definitely formed runs in that finish. So you can't see it from afar, but it definitely is not doing so well with the balloons.
Okay, that is the Hishine.
Oh, fascinating.
Yeah.
You know, it's interesting between these two, the differences in the shine and the coverage. Like this definitely gave you better coverage and a lot more glossiness. Yeah, because you can definitely see the difference in the coverage on the chrome balloons.
Yeah.
This is a little crackly and a little sparse, whereas these look gorgeous. They're still glossy, but we have experienced a high pop rate with the aerosol high spray, or high shine.
Okay, so this is very interesting because I think these are probably the 2 crowd favorites.
Yeah.
Like that's my perception.
Most people I see use the Mega Shine, the big pink can that most people will recognize. And then you've got Party Shine, which is the new product on the market. So we're down to number 1 and number 4.
So if you said number 4 is your favorite,
Number 4 is
then
my favorite.
Number 1 is next. So number 1 is Mega Shine.
Oh, you know, this has pretty good coverage. It has had a little bit of creep, but it's very even in its shininess. And have we lost any balloons
I
off
don't
of this one?
believe so.
There is no balloon poppage on this one.
Yep.
Now, we have collected quite a few bugs in the spray, but it does have a very even shine. And I think this would be one that I could recommend to people, you know? Okay.
And that, of course, means that your favorite number 4 is Party Shine.
Number 4 is Party Shine. That is really interesting. I think this gives some really good coverage. It's shiny all around. We did have a little bit of balloon loss, but I think overall, it's a pretty darn good product. So, Party Shine is my pick out of the day.
Yep. So I will say there's a huge difference in application between the pump sprayers and the aerosol sprayers. The aerosol was really great because you could immediately tell if you had full coverage, and there were significantly less drip issues. You notice that on the Hishine, you ended up with some drips. I don't believe those were there at the time I applied it, because the aerosols were much easier to work with from an application side of things.
Okay.
So.
Well, it's nice to have that instant feedback. I think one of the cans said you could apply it and walk away from it. And when you're on a client's work site, that's what you have to be able to do. Set the balloons, spray it, and get out of there for the party to start. You can't wait an hour or two to see, did you actually get good coverage? It'll be really fascinating to see, you know, if we leave these out here, what happens to them as the sun goes on.
We left the balloon columns outside for the rest of the day, and after a couple hours, the balloon column without any spray is the one that had the most balloons left, closely followed by the column sprayed with Mega Shine.
The main winners today was the aerosol sprays. They go on really nicely, with my favorite being the Party Shine, and a close second to that being the pink can of Mega Shine. If you'd like to see even more of our testing, you can find that on our Patreon page or on our YouTube memberships. Have you used any of these sprays on your projects before? Leave your stories below, because I would love to hear your experience with any of these sprays. It is so hot out here.